What is up, 4Runner fans? This is Andrew from 4Runner Customs. I'm back here with my 2006 Toyota 4Runner, and this video is super special to me because it marks me having owned this 4Runner for over 5 years, going on 6. And I want to talk about some things I learned through my ownership process. Anytime you see the wooden chair out with the 4Runner backed into the garage, you know it's going to be a pretty serious video, but yes, 5 years of ownership for this thing. You could say I qualify for the 4Runner Veterans discount. Now, I know there's some people that have owned them way longer than me, but I feel like 5 years is a good time period to really get to know a car, know it inside and out, and have some things to say about it. So I purchased this 4Runner back in 2018 when I was just 17 years old. I decided to work hard and save up, and I bought it with 120,000 miles. All these years later, it now has about 165,000 miles and has treated me great so far. So the first thing I learned is this vehicle just flat out runs, all right? That seems simple given it's a Toyota, given it's a 4Runner.
Okay.
If I want a reliable car, I buy a Toyota.
And I had heard that before I bought it, but let me tell you, you don't understand until you own it. 5 going on 6 years of ownership, and I have only had one problem. That's it, one. And the problem was fixed with $20 from a part offline. That was the mass airflow sensor. Now, the mass airflow sensor is a little part in the engine that controls the fuel to air mixture. And what I did notice, my car had some trouble shifting gears. It had some trouble accelerating, and so I was able to diagnose it and get the new mass airflow sensor. So 6 years, 15-minute fix for $20. Literally, that's the only thing I've had to do that made it work again. Now, there are some maintenance things, of course, the oil change, changing the brakes, stuff like that, but every time I've needed it to run, it's ran. Now, the next thing I want to talk about are the components and parts of the car itself. Now, I have had this thing for a while. As you can tell by the pictures and the thumbnail, it doesn't look the same. And that's because I put a lot of mods on it, put a lot of work into it to keep up with the maintenance. And what I've learned is that the parts and the components of the car are pretty simple. They're not too complex, they're not gonna have you stressed out about what to do, scratching your head, and they're pretty easy to understand. Nothing's over-designed, nothing's over-complex, and it just makes it really easy to work on, understand the car, and go forward knowing that you can be confident about how the car works. Now, this is important to me and many others because when I was 17, I really didn't know the most about cars, car components, and how it worked. And I mean, I still don't know all too much compared to some of the mechanics out there. But I was able to grasp and comprehend the 4Runner, how it worked, and I wasn't really overwhelmed by any of the electrical components or mechanical components in the vehicle. The next thing I learned about this vehicle is that the community is going to be there for you. Now, this is speaking on the other 4Runner owners that will help you out with your problems, whether it be YouTube, Facebook groups, Instagram. They're all super nice guys. Now, you do have the occasional guy that's going to be a little bit rude to you about it if you post your problem in a Facebook group or something. But I mean, that's just Facebook, right? So I'm a part of a couple different Facebook groups, 4Runner Facebook groups, and they have thousands and thousands of members. And when my car did have the issue with the mass airflow sensor, I was able to kind of make a post about my car's having this and this and this problems. Does anybody know what I could do to fix it? And I was able to get some great recommendations, try some different things, and it all worked out. So yes, the community is great. It's a group of guys that just like upgrading their car just like you do, and they're very accessible and very willing to help. Speaking a little bit more on this, the community on YouTube is also very helpful. I've had the privilege to know guys in the space like Dylan's Garage, Garrett Logan, Canadian Gearhead, and they all make videos that are really great and really resourceful and insightful and can help you learn more about your vehicle and help you understand it. Now, the next thing I learned in the 4Runner community is that there is definitely continuous improvement in the upgrades, mods, and performance category. Now, I personally can speak on this because I do own 4Runner Customs, which does provide 4Runner mods and upgrades. We're working on new stuff as we speak, but there's also other great companies out there. Other companies that make stuff like bumpers, headlights, things of that nature. And they also are continuously working to make better products and better upgrades for your vehicle. Now, next I want to talk about the interior features of the car. Now, this car is a 2006, right? It's almost 17 years old. But when I'm in the car, when I'm driving it, I don't really feel like it lacks that many modern features. Sure, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that today's vehicles have, but you don't really need that from a 4Runner. Now, there are things like radio upgrades, shifter knob upgrades that you can put in there to modernize it, But even without those, it still holds up pretty well to today's vehicles and today's features. Now looking inside my 4Runner, I do have the upgraded stereo right there and a carbon fiber shifter knob. But other than that, it's pretty much stock. And I mean, you have the climate control with the buttons, you have the odometer. Nothing is really too fancy, nothing too digital, but again, it doesn't seem like you would need that on a car like this. And I mean, I'm not missing out on anything. It's got the buttons on the steering wheel, which is also really nice. And I just feel like it ages well in a time where there's technology advancing really fast. It just ages really well, and the features are definitely up to par even all this time later. Let's talk resale value. Now, I just want to clarify, me personally, I don't plan on selling this 4Runner anytime soon, but I am in touch with the markets as I do want to buy a 03 to 05 year just to get the different features in the front for working on upgrades. That being said, of course, I'm not going to sell this thing. Resale values, though, do remain high. If you look at other cars from the year, the values are low, as opposed to a nice 4Runner, especially well maintained. You're looking at around $6,000 to $10,000 for a car in the mid 100 to 150, 160,000 mile range. And even above that, the 200,000 mile cars still get a pretty good price compared to other cars of the year. And that's just simply because of all the other reasons I've listed so far. So that is what I have learned through my 5 to 6 years of ownership of this vehicle. I'm looking forward to another 5 to 6 more at least. Also, guys, if you really enjoy this 4Runner content or you own a 4Runner, definitely consider subscribing. We're working hard to come up with new videos and new upgrades for this vehicle, as well as many other older Toyotas and Lexus models. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you're looking to upgrade your 4Runner or early year Toyota, please check out our website, trailrunnercustoms.com. Thanks.